Chairman of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. With me tonight, we have a full board tonight. So with me is Susan Stevenson, Jane Clare, board member Nina Edward Anker, and Kathy Buxton. Also with us tonight is Quinn Profil, our new alternate board member. So we have a full board tonight. So with that, I'm going to motion to open the September 8th meeting of the Southampton Village Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A couple of quick notes. The next meeting will be September 22nd, and the materials due date for that will be September the 16th. Also with us tonight, our counsel, Alice Cooley. Our recording secretary, Jackie Allen, is going to be taking notes remote tonight, so if I get insistent on talking to the mic, it's so that she can hear us and take accurate notes, and I will appreciate that. Normally, Alex Wallach, our planning director, is with us, but he is absent this evening. So with that, I think we are off and running. So the first thing is minutes approval from the meeting from August 11th. Did everyone get a copy of the minutes?
Yes. Yes.
Have a chance to read them, and are there any questions or corrections?
Nope.
Then I'm going to motion to accept the minutes from August 11, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, David. We have no written decisions tonight, which is interesting. We have an adjournment request for 66 Meadowmere Lane, and I think they've requested to October 27th.
That's a new application, so if you could take jurisdiction first.
Okay,
I do have the
open it and then
affidavit.
adjourn it?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll hold on that. I do have a question. On the agenda is, I believe it's 140 Potato Field Lane. Are they here tonight? Because I have no materials. We have no materials.
I have no materials either.
Okay, so then, where are you? So then, at the chairman's request, I'm going to adjourn 140 Potato Field Lane to the next meeting, which is September 22nd. So motion to adjourn 140 Potato Field Lane to September 22nd. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So with that, we can move on. We have no carryover matters. We're down to public hearings historic. The first one is 310 First Neck Lane. Is the applicant here?
Now what? Person isn't here?
Coming in.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We can. Could you please start by introducing yourself for the record?
Hi, John Tarbit, and
Neil Stefano of NJ Kane Architecture.
Great, okay. So assuming you're sharing your screen?
Yes, we're doing it now.
yeah, we're working on sharing the right.
Okay. We can see it.
Maybe.
Yeah, we're going to try to give you a different.
Good.
Sorry. Try to share. Let's share this one, right?
Yes.
There we go. All right. I think I did it right.
And we need to go to the other side.
Yeah. So there I should.
All right. Can they see this?
You can see now, hopefully.
Yes, sir, we can.
Yep. Okay, great.
Thank you. So again, my name is Neil Stefano. I'm the architect for the of record for the project. And I appreciate everyone taking the time to re-review this. This is our third review. The last time we met, I believe, was on July 28th. The board had given us some constructive criticism that we wanted to, that we implemented, and we'd like to review with everyone. What you're seeing right here is the culmination of the board's recommendations that we implemented. For everyone's recollection, do you mind just going to the previous? I'll show you what you had seen last submission. Which was, that is the same view. And what the board recommended was for us to be a little bit more thoughtful in looking at the detail of the amount of windows, as well as the size of the windows. We were looking at the eaves, as well as some of the dentil moldings underneath the eaves. We were also looking at some of the railing work and just the overall aesthetic on it. So if you could just go to the next one that we were showing just a second ago. Yep.
Page are they on?
So what we did was,
Back with the renderings
we
are.
removed the eaves as well as the dental work, and essentially taking that eyebrow off. The rendering is a little bit more accurate in regards to the materials, which is a cedar roof, painted exterior. The windows, if you notice specifically in the center section of the house, the windows are proportional to the other windows to the left and to the right, so they've substantially decreased in size. There is a new railing going across, much more simplistic in the overall aesthetics and style. And what we wanted to show was the bug netting and bug screens that drop down in the center section, which is why it's a little bit slightly grayed out. We wanted to represent that accurately for the board to have the opportunity to weigh in. Our feeling for the aesthetics on this is that it's substantially more in keeping in line with the overall look and feel of Southampton. Again, you can see, or you can stay on the top one, you can see how large the windows were in the center section, some of the detailing on the railings that the board had issues with, and asked us again to be more thoughtful about the eaves and the overhangs, if you go back up. So that is the first view of what was physically seen from the water line. And we felt like it was very successful in keeping with the overall style and aesthetics in Southampton, specifically First Neck. If you go to the next. This was the original, well, I shouldn't say that was what you again saw on July 28th. Let's scroll down just a little bit so you can see it on the top. What the board had issue with or commentary about was again the eyebrow, the extension of the eave, the dental work, the thoughtfulness of the front door and the glass to the left and to the right on the lower level, as well as the windows on the second floor and the overall aesthetics on it. What we looked at was to, again, be more harmonious. Again, the renderings are more in keeping in line with the reality of the materials. We put a wall with the oval window that relates to other sections of the house, covering up the excess glass to the left and to the right of the front door, making the door more of a primary focal point. There's no confusion of where that front door is. Looking at the upper floor and the second floor, having the windows and the siding more cohesive and letting it blend in. We also removed the eave and removed the dental work, pushing that all the way back. And again, having that have that overall aesthetic and feel that the board was so kind to give us some recommendations on. If you continue. This is another view of what you just saw in the previous. I'm just going to scroll down. You can just get another vantage point. This is that side view to the right of that same front door. So if you're looking at this rendering, to the far left is where that front door would be in that corner point. The board would ask us to look at removing any of the eyebrows, and you can see these oval windows that have appeared and remain. That's where we took our inspiration for, to the left and to the right of the front door, making it cohesive and not having a standalone or a one-off, but having this have a pattern inside the overall aesthetics of the exterior of the house. Look at the next. And so what we did was removing the eyebrows, simplifying everything, again, taking that eave line off, letting the house be a little bit more cohesive in the overall aesthetics, and hopefully successfully answering any of the board's concerns on the overall view of this house. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I'll go to the first one.
Okay. Board members.
I think it looks great. I really do. I think the railing, the simplification of the railing, the front door is much clearer, and I think...
Into the microphone.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, I think it looks great. Thank you. I think you've done a great job. I love the house.
I would agree that it's much improved, especially the roof line. And I don't know whether that was a diagram or not, but it just seems like you have a little bit more of a substantial roof now. And my only question is, the door blue?
If you go to the next view, just pull it up for everyone. Keep going. No, keep going. One more. I mean, it's a very light grayish blue is what it is. I can give you a specific spec on it. I'm sorry, I don't have it off the top of my head. But certainly if that is of any objection to the board, we would take that under consideration.
No, I actually like it.
Then yes, it's blue.
And then,
What did you say?
So yes, it's blue.
actually, first I thought that, I guess it's curtains on either side. You still have those windows there, but you have curtains in front of them? Is that?
Yeah, there's side lights to the left, to the right of the
Yeah.
door. It's just really from a standpoint of being able to see who's at the front door. You know,
Yeah.
nowadays it's kind of nice to be able to have that, but still maintain the privacy. What we were concerned about was, again, truly listening to what the board's recommendations were in regards to limiting the amount of windows, making it feel like a home, making it feel like there's a primary focal point, an entry point for the front door. And then again, having that cohesiveness with the oval windows and that there's a relationship to what's happening off to the right on that same, next adjacent elevation.
Right, and much less commercial looking, so thank you
Yes.
for listening.
No, thank you for your recommendations. We think it's a much more successful project, thanks to the board.
Oh, my God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nina, Susan?
Whoever, I think it's good. It's good. I have no objections. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Nina?
Yes, I don't have any objections
Okay.
either.
First of all, thank you for your comments. We appreciate them. The changes, I think one of the biggest the objections was in the original plan was the house looked see-through, and now the change at the front door is very successful. And by calming the roof down and taking the eyebrows out, the house sits down into its setting. I think it looks great. And it's appropriate for its setting, and it's now a very handsome house, and I think it's harmonious to the other houses that you see in the area, and is a great example for the village. Are there any comments from the public?
What do you
Okay.
know?
All right, so with that, I'm going to motion to move to written decision to approve the project for 310 First Neck Lane from drawings stamped
Oh, don't go
August
there.
12th.
August 12th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the comments. Great house, and good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so next up, that takes us to 384042 Jobs Lane. Good evening.
Good evening, board members. Sir Sani and Safi Sani from our architecture office representing 38/42 Jobs Lane. Let's get you on board here. She's my tech
Yeah.
specialist. Okay. So we had a meeting last time. We heard comments from the board members. We went back and made modifications to the plan. Today I'm going to walk you to those revisions, item by item. So if we move on to, I don't think there are any questions regarding the site plans. Basically, these are all envelopes that are very well defined by the zoning and code for village business district, especially the master plan that was adopted in 2013 defines the envelope of the building. And we're working within that envelope with all the setbacks, heights, and guidelines regarding development in historic district on Jobs and Main Street. As far as the facade, I have in this photo, in this drawing, comparing what was presented to you on the right-hand side and the revised version on the left side. Primarily, the main concern of the board members was that the building's a bit too formal in its context. So one of the primary things that we took into consideration is that getting away from that dark brick, which was a Shenandoah molded brick, and we're introducing much lighter colored bricks, basically white lime wash brick, which is inherent in the design of the brick. These are molded brick, historic bricks. This type is Glengarry's Provincial, and the crowns and cornices and the surrounds of the windows are a lighter rose full range being that there's a variety of colors within that range of color, so it's not one consistent. And these are all molded brick, consistent with more traditional historic bricks versus wire cut bricks that are more contemporary look. One of the comments that we took into heart and revised was the size of the windows on the second floor. We took a total of 8 linear feet of window out. On the sides, we cut back by 3 feet on each one of those linear feet, and in the center 2 feet, a total of 8 feet, and reduced the scale of the windows all around on the second floor. Also, as far as the roof of the first floor retail frontage, there was a question as to what that roof is, standing seam. Again, by shifting from the darker brick to the lighter brick, we also modified this roof from a standing seam roof to slate. Yes, slate roof basically, which is a light gray color slate, again with variations, natural variations of slate on that roof. The crowns were reduced, the dentils in the crowns were reduced in scale. The one-story storefront, the clear-story divisions were increased in number and smaller size in scale. And we also introduced 2 additional pilasters, 2 on the corners and 2 also at the center, flanking the center bay and center circular window, defining basically a 3-part bay or structure to this building. We can go on, Safi, to the next page, which defines each one of these as a separate, basically, structural, architectural element within their own contexts. The lime washed brick also carries itself to the back of the building, and on the side, which we have a stucco. The stucco is shifted from a red to a lighter cream colored stucco. And this color of also the storefronts has shifted to something that is closer in line and consistent with the color of the slate roof of it. So it's a bluish gray paint color, almost closer to the blue stone. I'll show you, let's walk through the photos. As far as the heights are pretty much on the sides at 27 feet, and at the peak of the center it goes to 34 feet from grade, which is consistent with buildings both across and to the sides. The Madonia's antique shop slightly lower, but the building immediately adjacent to that actually is slightly higher, especially with the Job's Lane sloping down in the street. There was mention about typology and typical buildings of this size. Job's Lane, number 53 Job's Lane, is actually exactly this typology of a building at exactly the same width, same height. One key point I would like to reiterate on is that the second floor is sitting 8 feet back from Job's Lane's facade, which are the retail frontages. So it's not flush with the rest of the storefronts adjacent to it or the storefronts below it. It's set back 8 feet from the street, which is again something that the code requires from us to do, and we've adhered to that. The context of the street at the top are the existing structures both to the east and west of it, and we've juxtaposed the same facade at the bottom photo to the elevation of facades across the street. The building that I was mentioning is to the far left, which is, as far as scale and size, slightly even larger than what we're proposing here. I think that by shifting to a lighter color brick, which is basically a white brick, it brings this structure more in line with the majority of the structures on Job's Lane, retail structures on Job's Lane, and lightens up its basically gets away from that formality that originally was present in the red brick. The rear of the property is, besides the brick again, and the reduction of the dental sizes is pretty much the same. This facade faces a plaza, which in scale and size is basically the same size as what the original courtyard used to be in the center. So it provides a nice plaza gathering, and this is basically the access point for the offices on the second floor, which from Job's Lane one can carry through a 5-foot walkway on the east side of the building to access those buildings, or of course from the parking lot. We're also providing 6 parking spots, which on that side of the street, no other retail actually has the possibility to do so. Because we're at the end of the parking, we could provide that benefits at all. I'll be happy to answer any questions for the board members.
Okay.
Pardon me. Oh, and I know we discussed about context. I'll be happy to walk you through some existing structures in the village that fall into line as far as the scale and size of the building. Again, 53 Job's Lane, Hildred's building, number 30 Job's Lane, which is the one adjacent to Madonio's antique shop. These are all 2.5-story structures and same width as what we're proposing.
Okay.
Could I ask you a question? So, in this rendering, is this, what is the ground, the retail? It's gray? What color is that? Because I see that the adjacent building, which we know is white, looks gray, and I'm wondering, is that just from the,
It's a bluish gray, similar actually to the door of the previous project. But
only
again,
because
it's
this is the same color and we know that's white, so that kind of threw me.
But we're open to suggestion on
Right.
that
I
color
mean,
too.
For me, I feel like we have a lot of red brick buildings with white trim all over the village. I don't know, I feel like that is more, if you're doing a brick building, it seems like that's more in keeping with what,
What we're proposing.
what exists already. So is more in keeping with what is our standard, but I don't know, that's my only comment right now.
I think that you have a good point, because I was wondering the same thing, because when you see this, you're not sure. I think a much lighter trim to match the lime would probably be a much better look also. And I do like the lime. I think that it's toned the building down and it's made it look smaller in scale. And I love the slate roof concept, because that goes with a lot of things that we have.
We'll be happy to change that color to lighter color, something closer to off-white, or something between a light, very light gray, almost whitish gray.
I agree that there are some buildings on Main Street that are
Maybe can you pull the mic a little closer for
a
me?
little bit larger in scale, but this is Job's Lane, and to me it still seems like if this was a library or a village hall, it would make sense to me to have this sort of taller, symmetrical brick building be a little bit more formal. But right now it looks almost like it belongs in South Street Seaport if it was going to be part of the landscape, or perhaps it could maybe fit in better on Main Street. But Job's Lane has a specific character of these little retail houses almost, and they're white, and there's a certain character to Job's Lane, and I feel like it's just still a little too tall compared to the building next to it, and I feel like it's still a little bit out of character for Job's Lane.
Susan?
Well, I think it's, my only comment is, I think the gray, now it's, by making it the gray part doesn't seem to go with the top part. So that if you like, I don't know what you can do, but I think it's better. And I did, my hair was on fire when this got started. But then I realized it's not the biggest thing. It seems enormous in these drawings, but when you walk on Job's Lane, it isn't. It's deep, but it's not any, there are long things. But I do think the gray is somehow, I don't know what you can do, seems out of place. I think it's better because there's a division. It doesn't seem so, what I call Pittsburgh, monumental red brick. So and it's the same height as anything on that strip? As the Madonia building?
Actually,
I forget what you said, I'm sorry.
yes,
other
actually, let's
side.
just show it.
Oh, it's on the other side?
Yeah, where the
to
Kevin Maples
angled,
is. It's
view.
Oh, yeah.
slightly taller.
This
Yeah.
one, no, next one.
And then look at how big
So,
that is.
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah.
But it's all
Madonia's
white.
building actually is one of the smaller buildings, two-story
Okay.
buildings on the line. And
Well, I'm
yes,
not saying that should,
it's, but we have, again, plenty of precedents on Job's Lane of larger buildings sitting next to smaller buildings.
right,
to
I
give
think
you-
that's good.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that gives
It's
it
not a
actually
shopping
character.
center, I get it. Yeah,
And Nina, to your point, yes, this is a wide building, but we've gone through extensive work trying to break it down into components of itself. First of all, because of the 8-foot setback, and there are two big trees actually in front of these properties, so if you would go
Yeah, I
to show that
appreciate
view.
the changes in the renderings.
That, the immediate, basically facade is, of course, the retail frontage on Job's Lane, which is consistent with many of the other retails, is broken down with the recesses for the entries to so forth. So we don't think that as a width is an issue. And on the second floor, the 8-foot pushback and setback from the street really reduces the mass of that structure. And as far as, again, precedents and typologies, again, the building next to Herbert and Rist, 53 Job's Lane, that's pretty much, if you could enlarge that, Safi, so that
is
we
that the liquor
get a
store?
better view
No,
of
the
it.
next to
Actually,
it,
remember
there are
the
like
other
4
one,
shops.
this view. So
Oh,
this
yeah.
is that building is basically slightly even larger than what we're proposing
That's where
here.
Roberta Roller Rabbit is?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, just,
And this is basically something that whenever we walk by, we're never quite conscious of that upper floor. This is not even set back as much as what we're proposing. It's more like about 4.5, 5 feet setback. We're proposing 8-foot setback on the second floor.
point taken.
And again, a pedimented center which stands even taller than what we're proposing. We're slightly below, at the peak, below the maximum 35, we're at 34, but of course drop down to 27 feet on either side, flanking the building.
That's a major.
And also the pilasters that we provided breaks down this facade into that 30-foot increments, 22-foot, 23-foot increments that are more in line with the smaller structures on Job's Lane. And to your point, Mark mentioned about windows. We did take off about 8 linear feet. That was basically on the second floor. The windows are side lights mostly, rather than a full-size window. And the circular window in the center was proportionally reduced by a total of 2 linear feet as far as the amount of light.
Well, from my perspective, the things we're asked to look at are massing, scale, balance, siting, materials, proportion, rhythm, scale, and architecturally harmonious. If you go back to your streetscape on this side of Job's Lane, I think the second floor is very heavy. I think the building looks very wide. If you look at the roof lines of the rhythm of the buildings, a lot of your gables are going more east-west or north-south, or more north-south, and heading down to bring down the massing and the scale of the second floor to reduce it visually to the street. And yours is not only is it flat and massed straight across, then you've popped up the center of the building to make it even bigger. I think it's too heavy for this part. I don't think it's harmonious. I think the scale of the second floor is just too heavy and too big, and I think there are other ways to solve this. that would fit into the rhythm of that side of Job's Lane, into the area that you're going, and be more harmonious to where we are. While I actually think, trying to break it into looking like that occupies 3 lots helps, but it doesn't look like, and it shouldn't look like 3 distinct buildings, but now it just looks like the more ornamental detail in a building that I think is too big and too tall for the site. And I don't know that I'm a favor of the washed brick either. I think that besides perhaps a maintenance nightmare, I don't know that that's in keeping with the kind of materials that we have on this part of the street. So I feel like it's not harmonious with the rest of the street. I think the scale is a little too big, and I think the massing to the street's too heavy. And the amount of light and glass and weight, visual weight on the second floor is atypical to anything else on that side of Job's Lane. So I think there are others. So I think there are other solutions.
When you're saying there is no precedence scale and comparison, I mean, one building next to, away from us, in between Madonia's antique shop and us, is a 2.5-story building going to 35-foot height.
Mhm.
Across the street, as I said, number 53, that's a building that is exactly the same scale as ours. And I'd like to point something else here. We are facing actually the grounds of the Southampton Arboretum. So this is actually a building that's going to be facing an open space of an arboretum.
We know that. We live here. We know
Not in
that.
the context of actually the smaller stores that you may find. Most of the smaller stores on Job's Lane are sitting further down from us on the same side of the building, and then towards the end again it starts getting larger. But Job's Lane's character is a mix of large and small buildings, starting with, of course, the institutional buildings on the corner, but even as far as length, on the south side you have the long linear building with the tower. There are plenty of examples of these types of larger sized buildings. And the 2 flanks of our building at height of 27 feet, I don't know how much lower can we have without eliminating the second floor. This is like basically we haven't gone up to a 35
From my
foot, which
perspective,
is our,
from my perspective, I think it's how they're 27 feet. I think it's flat to the street. I think there's no undulation in it, and I think there's another solution that it's more harmonious. That's my opinion, and I'm only one vote up here. But to me, you've heard how I feel about this building right now. It doesn't have my support.
But again, when we look at the specific guidelines that are defined in the village code,
Mhm.
that doesn't give us much of an option besides what we're proposing here.
I'm
as
sure
far as an
there's more.
envelope.
I am absolutely sure there's more than one option, and I'm sure there's an option that may be more harmonious to the street. It's not my job
I mean,
to.
can
I'm
you
not
give
my
us
job to
some
tell. It's not my
example
job
of
to.
this
It's not my
harmony?
job to tell you what the solution is. It is our job to tell you what we see and our opinion in looking at it and understanding the code and what our job is. What I think is not appropriate for this job, but to my opinion, is not a building that I'm finding appropriate in this location for the reasons that I stated.
Now, I actually don't have those problems, but I actually like the red brick,
Me too.
Me too.
which if you had white trim,
Trim, yeah.
you might be able to pull, and
Yeah.
no metal roof. I could go with it probably. I hear what you're saying, and I, my hair was on fire. I said that, and then I walked down Job's Lane. I thought, well, God, I wasn't paying attention before. There are diverse buildings. I realize it is linear in a way, but I don't think that. I feel like maybe there could be a little diverse. I don't think it's that different. And you can also see that Veterans Hall, you can see a lot of from there. That's red brick and white trim, quite a tall building. So I would prefer some red brick, and maybe just, if you could try to make, I think somewhere, I don't know, I'm terrible at this stuff. White, to try to make it more in keeping with the quote
All
style
the other red
of
brick buildings with
red
white
brick
trim
buildings
all
that
around
you
the
showed.
village.
I think that might be really helpful.
Yeah, keep the
And
slate
I
roof.
do appreciate that, I don't think it's all that big. I mean, that was my other thing. It's like, well, wait a minute, how about the shoe store? I mean, it's not there anymore, but there are, I think I just never, I don't know what I assumed it was. So I personally don't, I know it's somewhat massive, but I'm not sure that's bad. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's so out to lunch in terms of the rest of the street, on both sides, I would say, and the village. So that's my idea.
Well,
I don't know what other people.
if I hear it correctly, if we shift, I think actually comparing the two red bricks that we have in the original proposal
Yeah, I
and what
like
we're proposing, that the lighter red brick, which is a rose color, I think is a little bit lighter and nicer than the darker red brick. If we shift to the lighter red brick totally, and the ground level retail going for an off-white finish.
That might help.
With a
I'd say more white
slate.
than
More white.
off-white.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all
Everything's
basically
white.
all the trim would turn
So
into
try
white,
and get
off
what's
white,
there, but
and then
we'll try
slate
it.
and keep the slate on that
slate's
roof.
good.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
I think that should do it.
We'll
Yeah.
see. But that would be what I would probably accept. How's that? But I have to see
Yeah.
it in a
Okay.
rendering, because my
Okay.
imagination is difficult, we've seen so many things.
Why don't we see if are there any comments from the public?
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, if you could come up to the microphone, please. You can just go to the podium if it's easier. Yeah. If you'd start by introducing yourself for the record, please.
I'm actually speaking on behalf of Sue Madonia, who's unable to be here this evening. My name is Diane Feldman. Sue objects strongly to this building. She is the neighboring building. She's been a retail member of this community for a long, long time, and she has a good eye for the beauty in Southampton and has enjoyed being on Job's Lane since she was a child, and their mother owned the store. This store, every time you meet and there's a new proposal, Sue believes it's an opportunity for you not to just live on the mistakes perhaps of the past, but an opportunity to improve going forward. It's an idea that you might want to embrace, because just because something pre-existed that might be somewhat compatible with this large building doesn't mean that those other things are correct. You have an opportunity to improve Job's Lane. Now, the historic in your own handbook, I think that was published by the community, the spirit of Job's Lane was to have smaller shops, smaller buildings. This is not in the spirit of that. Also, this is sort of a remedy for planned decay that happened behind it. I don't think you should rush into approving this. I think that in looking at a handbook that was put out about the spirit of Job's Lane, Sue wanted me to cite that for you, that this truly isn't, as I mentioned before, in keeping with that. And yes, there's the large shoe store. Yes, there's other things that exist there. But she believes this isn't in keeping with what she's always tried to maintain, the beauty of their store, a storefront. And this doesn't look like a good neighbor to her.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments? Anybody online? Yes, I saw a hand in the back.
My name's Christine Sullivan Whitaker, and all I say is I agree with Mr. McIntyre. I grew up in a Stanford White House on Lake Agawam, lived there for 32 years, and I'm familiar with how the village has changed. And I just don't think a building, I remember hearing you don't want big box stores, and that's kind of what it reminds me of.
Thank you. Anybody else? Is there anyone online? Okay. Hello? Oh, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
That's a little better. Get close to your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
Better. If you could introduce yourself for the record.
I came up with this stuff.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, he can't hear us.
Great.
Can you hear us?
Visual- Is the audio set correctly?
Yeah, it is.
It looks.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah.
My apologies. Good evening, everyone. My name is Christian Pico. I'm a resident of South Main Street. I'm also co-chair of the Planning Commission and vice president of the Library of your village. As caring for a 1894 Victorian house on South Main Street, I'm well aware for the last 30 years of the architecture and also the issues we face with this particular location with previous applications. And for 5 or more years as residents, we have witnessed a blight on Job's Lane. So I am absolutely delighted that Mr. Vigna is back with his architect, Sammy, and proposing a project. Looking at the presentation from July 28 to today, listening to all the comments that each one of you on this ARB board are making, and thank you for doing that job. I think it's really interesting to see it progress. And what I'm hearing from Sammy and the discussion is a lot of input and back and forth. So I hope that we'll come to a solution which will be good for this location. I think certainly mass and scale arguments are well made, but that's your decision on the board. But for me as a resident, I can only say that I'm delighted to see this discussion going, and I can't wait for this, for a solution between the applicant and the board to be found in a application to go through at some point. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, anybody else?
Sage?
No.
Okay. So you've heard the comments. To move forward, do you want to adjourn to the next meeting? Do you want to?
We will make the modifications to the brick color, to the trim colors. We will again take another look at the heights, but I truly believe, and this is again goes back to the village master plan, that as far as the roof lines, they're very clear that there should not be a continuous roof line and a break in roof lines, and that's what we try to achieve by shifting or increasing the height in the center bay in order for these three buildings not to read as one large wide building. But again, I'm going to take another look at it and see how we can shave off. But key point, two points I'd like to make. First of all, we do have precedents of this scale and size in Job's Lane. It's not that this is alien to Job's Lane. And especially with the second floor setback 8 feet from the street, that really reduces the dominance of the building that you mentioned in relationship to the neighboring buildings. But again, to use an example, Aaron's flower shop across the street is a one-story building sitting next to a much taller building next to it. And that kind of precedent is very common in Job's Lane, of smaller buildings sitting next to larger buildings. It's a mix. Wider buildings sitting next to narrower buildings, and that gives it a character. And most importantly, the ground level of it, as far as the retail frontage, follows in that same guideline that the rest of the shops have. So it's not a break in the rhythm. It's not a box, as it was referred to, big box store. This is anything but that. We've gone through extensive work to design a classical building that is in line with the classicisms that you see actually on Jobs and in the village on Main Street too. Main Street and our village has many numbers of these types of classical buildings in larger scales even than this. And that what makes our village special.
Okay. So you think you'll be able to...
So we'll look into these things and come back to you again.
And you think you can be ready by September 22nd?
September 22nd.
So you want us to adjourn to then?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the applicant's request, we're going to adjourn the application for 3840 42 Jobs Lane to September 22nd. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
we'll see you then. Okay, so that brings us to Estate of Varsha Van Muffling at 32 Ox Pasture Road. Okay, before you guys speak, I want to make some comments, okay?
About this application?
Yes, yeah. You are in receipt of the report we got from Zach?
Yes,
Okay,
I received it today.
okay. Board members? Board members, I want to talk about a little bit, because our job is to go through all the paperwork we had for 32 Oss Pasture Road, which we've done, and we got Zach's report, and also went back and read through a lot of the materials it's put in, and I think what might be prudent to do at this point is just read into the record Zach's report and a little bit of the summary, and then have a quick commentary from the board and poll the board on its opinions for right now. Because if you read, this is a house that went through, it was moved, but during a period, it would have been a period of significance, but in a lot of the time and energy that was spent renovating the house, what we heard from Zach actually backs up what we heard from the last meeting. I'm going to read into the record a little of Zachary's report. The single-family residence located at 32 Ox Pasture Road, Southampton, occupies a 1.75-acre residential parcel bounded north by Ox Pasture Road in the village of Southampton. The building was included in a building structure inventory form survey of historic houses throughout the village in 1979, and later listed as a contributing resource in both National State Registers of Historic Places, 1988, and locally designated included in the village of Southampton Historic District, 89. Then it goes on for the history of the building a little bit. A site visit was conducted on August 28, in which a consultant investigated the residence for visible exterior fabric that was indicative of its early 20th century construction period. No evidence of historic origins were observed, all having been altered, removed, or replaced in the course of its initial conversion from that of a carriage house garage into a residence, and later increases in footprint and design to accommodate the needs of later owners. While there is no official procedure for delisting a contributing resource in the historic district, the granting of building permits for alterations and additions can effectively diminish the integrity of a building over time. Eventually, as in this instance, the loss of architectural integrity is tantamount to a delisting. The existing single-family residence at 32 Ox Pasture Road no longer retains the historical character or evidence of its original construction period, and may be considered as no longer contributing to the incorporated village of Southampton Historic District. Now, this goes with the summary we actually got in the last meeting from the applicant, which was the applicant proposes to demolish the existing 5564 square foot residence and accessory structure as shown on the architectural plans and elevations. Then it goes down. The building was originally constructed as a carriage house in 1902, and in 1932 belonged to A.D. Cree. It was moved sometime after 1932 to 32 Ox Pasture Road to be used as a private home. The structure was substantially altered in 1969 and had a major addition, nearly doubling its size, in 1980, with significant alterations thereafter. Although listed on the National Register in 1986 and nominated in 79, historic alterations that were made to the structure throughout the years, ultimately the 2009 Southampton Village Historic Survey Update final report prepared for the Southampton Village Historic Consultant Zachary Studenroth assessed the property as no longer contributing to the historic district due to the extensive alterations and excluded in the property from the village's database of historic resources. Now, what's interesting to me, having done this job for a while, is unless somebody specific, when this board looked at it in, 2009. Unless somebody specifically asked us to consider its historic presence, we probably didn't. They probably looked at what was going on with the expansion. And we don't really have a process to delist a house. But I think since Zachary's report mirrors what we've heard from the applicant, and having walked and looked at the house, I think this is a case where when it was listed as a road form, but probably didn't then, and I don't think, in my opinion, now does not really go to the standard of a contributing structure in the historic district. But that's my opinion. I'd like to know what the other board members think.
I agree with you.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's like half, it was moved, half of it's gone. I mean,
Right.
that's really,
Yeah.
it wasn't the main house, you know, there are so
Now,
I
we've
say,
had other historic houses where the historic part is evident, and
Yeah.
some parts have been enclosed. Every part is enclosed here, and it is no longer evident. So it's actually a different situation.
sad but true.
Nina, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So then, in terms of moving forward, we have in our code that if someone wants to demolish in the historic district, they also have to show us what they want to replace it with, which you're actually doing. But I don't know that we could actually make an argument here for, what was it we found? It had to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me, counselor, here.
Are you asking what you should do?
No. The code talks about, economic hardship was in the
Oh,
code,
yeah,
which is not an
no.
argument that we're making
No,
here. But
not necessary here.
I think the board is in agreement with the applicant that not moving this in its past review from historic residence is probably the correct way to go. What's the right motion we would do to accomplish that?
I would vote that this is no longer a contributing structure.
Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to move that 32 Ox Pasture Road, as is presented, does not qualify as is no longer a contributing structure,
to the historic district.
and probably did not deserve to be a contributing structure as of the 2009 review. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Which allows us to move on
Right.
now
the
to
real
talk about
house.
what you'd like to do and give comment on that.
Thank you, board members.
Thank you.
This is my first time here, so I have no
Well,
history.
you start by introducing
Oh,
yourself.
I'm sorry, okay.
And you also have to pull the mic very close so the remote.
I can scream loud if you like. I'm Jim Howard. I am the applicant, I think. I'm the potential new homeowner. My wife and I would like to buy this property and put a house here.
Okay.
And so I'm a decorator from Florida, and so know a lot about architecture and design and that sort of thing. And so before we moved forward with Doug, who was our architect, we wanted to make sure we had someone who had done houses in Southampton, understood what the board and what the neighborhood really wanted. And I mentioned names of former architects like McKim, Mead, White, and H.H. Richardson, a lot of the names that you already know. I said we want the house to be, I was very specific that I wanted the house to be asymmetrical. I wanted it to have lots of shingles and more arts and crafts and flavor so that it really fit the fabric of the neighborhood. So a lot of the white cladding and trim, a lot of it was left off so that it blended nicely into that lot. We want to leave a lot of the trees that are there so that the trees obscure the house from the street, and want it to feel more like a neighborhood house as opposed to an estate. So that was the directive that I gave to Doug, and our architect. And he and I have worked together for several months to get at this house that has been designed, and he met with you a month or 2 weeks ago and presented it to you, but you had some comments. And on those comments, he and I discussed them. And the primary one, and I think really the only one, was that the windows you felt were too large for the front of the house. I didn't disagree. I've always believed that light is your friend. A house that during the day has light, particularly light that comes from the south, which is the back, feels really great when that light comes in. It's happy. It's a house that feels like a home. A lot of what is happening on the front of the house is obscured by these trees that are there. And so together, Doug and I took that front facade of the stairs, and this window layout that's on this that you've seen is exactly like right at 50%, half of what it was before. So I feel like we accomplished that. I feel that it's still in character with the neighborhood, and I'm very proud of it. So would just like to get your opinion as well.
Okay. So what you're asking for right now is not actually to approve, because your architect's going to come and do a full
Right, right.
presentation of the house. You're just asking directionally, what do we think what the house as it looks right now?
No, he said that, I think part of, I don't know what the approval process requires, but that one of the things that, well, the thing that you guys asked for was that the windows had to be reduced substantially, and so we did reduce them by 50%. As far as that goes, I think that was it.
Okay.
And I realize that there are a follow-up meeting for all things like engineering.
Yeah, so
all
you're
that.
actually going to come in with a formal, you're going to come in with a formal application for this house with,
Yes,
with
of course.
all elevations for us
Absolutely.
to actually review. What you're asking us tonight is, based on what we saw last time versus what we saw this time, do we feel like you went in the right direction?
Yes.
Okay. Board members?
It's a pretty house, y'all.
I just want to say, ask Doug to put not residence pasture road, Ox Pasture Road, but the number, because when we get our paperwork, it just says Ox Pasture, and sometimes we have more than one, so it's just helpful
I
if we
think it makes
have.
great sense.
It does, but
Yes.
anyway.
Good call.
I'm a big stickler,
Mark,
I
I
can't
think-
stand it.
I think this proposed house is formally pending before the board.
I agree. What
It is,
was
Yeah.
it is
before?
because we believed that it was part and parcel of a requirement for
Okay.
getting our
Is
demolition.
this
Okay,
what we're
this is what I'm
talking
asking.
about?
Yeah.
So we requested a certificate of appropriateness for a demolition permit for the existing residence and the proposed, and
So-
to construct the proposed
We
residence.
do need, here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we do need both.
The revised, is this what we're talking about tonight?
Hmm?
Yes?
It was delivered to you this week.
It's not
September
delivered to
2nd.
me. Is this August 29th?
No, this one says September 2nd that
Okay, well,
I,
there we go. That's what I'm asking.
September
Uh-oh.
2nd.
Here, we can share. Do you want to look at this one?
Just a second. I don't know.
Oh, that's
if
your
we-
issue.
Yeah.
This is,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay, but the actual, okay, no problem.
Okay.
Just want to be on the same page.
All right. So this is a formal application for this house. You're not looking for a
the
consultation. You're
architect-
actually looking for us to approve this house.
Well, do we have to have a
That's what I
demo
understood the
permit?
process was,
Right.
but if you want to
Huh?
bifurcate the application, we could
No.
consider doing that as well.
It
It's
hasn't been a
really.
demo.
No, we should really do them both simultaneously
Okay.
to be consistent
Okay.
All right.
with the code.
I got it.
Okay.
So it's-
Mr. McIntyre, what I understood the process to be would be we needed to get a certificate of appropriateness so that the house could be removed. But before you gave us that, you wanted to see, what are you gonna build?
Well, that's in the
All
historic
that's
Requirements
true.
code.
All that's true. My only
Yeah.
question is,
You're right.
sometimes people come and ask us for a consultation, sometimes it's a formal application, and apparently it's a formal application, so we're going to treat it as that.
Okay, thank you
Okay,
very much.
sure. Okay, board members.
Wait, isn't the architect going to
Yeah.
give a?
Is the
He
architect
gave a
here?
presentation at the last meeting. I
He
don't
did,
know
but
that he's here
it was
tonight.
sort of, I didn't understand.
He-
Okay,
He actually did the
but he isn't giving, he's not talking about the revised situation here?
no, I mean, because the only thing that you asked to change was the windows, and we did it.
Well, there's a
Okay, so
substantial change in the little
I'm
front of
actually,
the house.
I'm
uncomfortable.
actually,
Okay.
there's a couple things we need. We're going to need the architect to come in, because we also need, your drawings, they don't detail color, materials, a lot of this.
For the
a
application
lot-
for a building permit.
No, we look at
No.
everything. The architecture review board, we look at color, we look at materials, look at what kind of shingles, we look at the window trim color, the front door color, as you heard earlier tonight.
Right.
We look at everything. So
So that's what he's talking about, the full
a
application.
full application comes
But
in
we,
front of us.
do we need that for the certificate of appropriateness?
Well, that's what,
Yeah.
that's what they're saying. They're saying that you do need the full plans for the certificate of appropriateness for demolition of this existing structure.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, you don't need construction level drawings with engineering, but you need to have all the materials. The materials is one of the big
So
things.
for the next
that-
meeting, you would want to bring the cedar shake, the brick.
The
I-
color.
You don't necessarily need to bring samples, though the board
I don't
likes to
think we
see
need to see
them,
samples.
but-
The
The
drawings,
name of the paint color,
the name of the drawings just need to have more detail on them.
the
Like
color of the
height,
window surrounds, everything
fine.
like that.
Yeah, but height, materials, kind of shakes, color of the window, colors of the trim, color of the brick, all the very specific detail that we would need to know. Because the answer is, because the idea is when we walk out of here, we know exactly what the house is going to look like down to the last detail, and that's what we approve.
Do you have any initial feedback for him?
I was going to say, to
since
be
it's a
fair,
fir-
let's
yeah,
give you some
thank
initial
you.
feedback, and then you
Can
can
we
you can
vote
get
on the
better
demo
drawings.
tonight,
but
though? We can vote on the
She
demo.
wants to do
No, I
it
think what we're gonna-
simultaneously.
I'm gonna actually say, the board has sort of put its public opinion out, what will go on with that. So I think if we adjourn this to the next, we'll vote on them at the same time, because
Okay.
that's what the code asks for. But I think we're in a good position, and you understand where we are with that, and it's in the public record. So right now, why don't we give initial feedback on what we think on the house is being presented and stamped in on September 2nd.
Kind of in the front.
May I ask, I know this property very well, and I'm just wondering about the massing, if the footprint remains the same, or whether you've expanded it and heightened it a lot from the, what is that now?
It's, a lot is a big word, but no, it's about in the same spot. And it's larger, but it's not, it feels a lot softer because everything is cedar shake. It's not all these contrasting materials, it's all sort of one color, so that it shrinks and makes it much more diminished. That's where you want to leave a lot of trees out front, because I want to make it feel like it's always been there.
And is that cedar shake, or is it painted white? Because it's hard to tell from this rendering.
Cedar shake painted white.
Oh.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's very
Oh,
different.
it's white.
It's
Yeah.
what, the whole house is white with the cedar
The whole
roof.
house is white. Except for the roof.
Oh.
I particularly I actually love the shingle patterning over the front door. It's reminiscent of that 14-horse barn we just approved.
Yeah, the entire front of the house, the whole house is white.
I appreciate the variety of the facade, there's a tiny bit of doubt in my mind that it seems a tiny bit massive, compared to the other houses on the street. Is this
I would say it's very much in keeping with those houses on the street. I'm real cognizant of that.
Is this
I
a
think we need a
third,
better rendering.
a third floor? The
There's no
ceiling?
third floor.
No third floor, it's just an attic?
First floor, second floor. There's a
Okay.
basement, but there's a first floor, second
Okay,
floor.
because there's one ceiling that's going, roof line that's going quite high.
No, it's actually not high. The rendering sometimes is an illusion.
Yeah, I know, that's why I'm asking, yeah.
It's definitely not high.
I'm not crazy about the thing with the middle, which is the quite high. Is that what you're talking about? This tower-like,
This roof line up here.
these things, this, I thought I think this is two on there. The middle. This. It was the two big windows, is that right? Now it's different.
It was all windows.
It was-
Right.
it
And
was
now
that
it's
before.
half
Right, I
that.
remember that. But now I feel like, why do we have round windows and things floating around there?
Round
'Cause you
windows are
like
sort of-
them?
are very H.H. Richardson, McKim White.
They might be. I'm not in love with it compared with all the other,
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
with all the other, I think it's quite decorative. I like the decorative shingles. I
Uh-huh.
think that's good. And the arched windows. But then we get to these, they're called oeil de boeuf.
The windows?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm not,
That's good.
I think that's de trop. How's that? Sorry.
I think
My
you did
French.
great.
French meetings
Well,
tonight.
it's French. Eye of the bull, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's what-
commonly known as bullseye, but
Yeah,
it's like
well,
when-
I think it came from.
no, it's actually
Okay.
on in the 18th century, in houses, they had girandole mirrors that were convex like that, and you would put candles in front of them, and they
And
would
it
throw
would-
the light
yeah,
around the room.
that's a
It was
good
called a
idea.
bullseye.
Yeah.
That's from a convex mirror.
So, I don't know about that. So that's, I feel like that's like a little too much. Either, I like that the windows are reduced, don't get me wrong on that. Or one instead of three, I could live with. But I think it's become, what do other people think? How's that? That's all I have to
I
say.
would prefer maybe a little bit better rendering, because I'm assuming that this is brick.
No,
No.
everything is off-white,
Oh.
white.
Everything is a white shingle.
Oh, okay,
So it's
okay.
white
But they're
shingles,
patterned.
and it's interesting, I had to go down to West Hampton today, and I passed by a church that was very much like this. It's sort of known as the arts and crafts style, and there's no trim on it. It's all shingles done an interesting
Yeah.
way by the arts and crafts craftsmen, which is what we did here. And it's all,
It looks
and
like
that
a-
church was all white.
It
And
like
looks
that.
It looks like
it's
the
very
shingle
pretty.
pattern for the-
So all of this is
the
white.
gin lane
And so
doors
There's
are just-
a
it
few
recedes
places
away.
with patterning on
There's a
top.
rule in design called the rule of advancing and receding, where you have contrasting materials made to make one jump forward. And in this case, everything recedes because it is all the same color.
All right, any other comments that we want to give tonight?
No one commented on my comment, so no one, I don't know what's going on.
I like the bullseye. I think that was
I
good.
know you do. I don't. I made that clear.
In your rendering, one's oval and two are round. Is that
Yes.
purposeful?
That's because they're,
Or is it the rendering? Is it
it's a
what
rendering because they go on they're all
On a round.
elliptical, but
Okay, they're all elliptical. It's just
Yeah.
how it's showing up in your drawing.
Yeah.
it's because of the perspective.
We need a better
And then the
rendering.
only other question I have is when you look at your rendering of the cover, because you've got the archway and then you've got the door, you've sort of got belts and suspenders with the light fixtures there.
I'm sorry, Mr. McIntyre, I'm not sure what you're
Just
talking
right
about.
over the front door, you've got a large light fixture, and then there's light between the two brackets that are either side of that arch that you've.
Oh, the two
scribbled.
sconces.
Yeah, I think all those light fixtures is, I want to see what they look like. I don't know that all of that's necessary, but, because that whole bracketing pattern is so beautiful. I think the reduction in the glass down to what you've done, and the reason is,
Looks like a house.
here in the village, there's been a trend lately that everybody wants these big lit stairways, and the problem is they project light pollution to the street and to
Right.
neighbors, and we've had situations on the sides of houses, and they literally light up the neighbor's backyard. So it's the one thing we really look at is the amount of light and the type of light that's going into a lit stairwell.
Right.
And I think when you have massive amounts of glass, as you had before, no matter what you do with that amount of light, it just projects and it sort of glows into the night. I think taking it down to where you have it now is much more appropriate to the house. And
Thank you.
And I actually think it's a little more gracious against the facade, against the front,
Thank
in my
you.
opinion. Anybody else? Okay, any comments from the public? Okay, so if you could have a full presentation ready by the 22nd, you think?
Can we do it by the 22nd?
Sure.
Let's try for the 22nd, because after the 22nd, it's a month before the next meeting.
Right,
So let's put you for the 22nd and
Okay.
try to get there.
we will.
Yes. All right. So with that, I'm going to motion to accept the applicant's request for an adjournment for 32 Ox Pasture Road to September 22nd. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
board
you.
members.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Nice to meet everybody.
Nice to meet you and welcome. And congratulations. It's a beautiful
Thank you.
property. Okay, so that takes us now to New Matters 7 North Sea Road. Kurt and Lorena Strunk.
We have the affidavits and they're in order.
Oh,
I know that because you told me you had them all. Hello?
Good evening.
Yeah, for what? Oh, your computer?
So, I
you
have
need
a
your
presentation.
Would you start by introducing yourself, please?
Yes, good evening. I'm Kurt Strunk. I, together with my wife and our 2 teenage boys, own 7 North Sea Road.
Okay.
And so I'm not a limited liability company. I'm not an architect. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm here as the applicant.
Okay.
I do have a presentation. I brought copies for you. It summarizes our presentation, what you have all of the documents that were required in advance, but I do have a summary presentation that I'd like to go through. I can share it on Zoom, and I can give you a copy.
Okay, can you start by taking us through what you presented that we've reviewed? Because normally everything that's going to be reviewed by the board is due the Tuesday prior to the meeting, so we have time to read it.
Yes, so
So
I'll
we've
tell
gone
you-
through this.
right,
Okay,
and that's the application.
okay,
But what I'm doing in this presentation is tying the application to the obligations under the code.
okay.
So I
Go ahead.
thought it would be helpful to put it
Okay.
in that perspective.
Go ahead, let's see where we
And
go.
to give you an idea of the antecedents of how we get here. I'll just, if I can approach, I
Yeah,
will
that's fine.
give you a copy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
she's showing inside the stuff.
And I appreciate your coming by today. I think it's great that you were able to see the backyard and the existing conditions, so thank you. I've structured the presentation to really cover, well, let me start by saying that even though I am here alone, I was, the package that you have before you was created by, very capable architect, structural engineer, and although we did not seek legal counsel for this application, we feel like it's a very straightforward application. We have a ZBA approval to build the dormers, and we're proposing materials that are exactly the same as are already on the house. So we did not use legal counsel when we put together our package, but we do have legal counsel lined up should we ever
Okay.
get into a situation of an Article 78 or a certificate of
We
economic.
probably don't have to leap to an Article 78
Well,
just
I
yet.
hope
Go
not.
ahead.
So I just thought I'd mention it. I do think this is a fairly straightforward application. So I'll tell you how we got here first. So I'm going to go to the slide 4, which is antecedents.
What I'm going to ask you is not to read code to us. We know
No,
the code.
I know,
And we
I
know,
know.
and we
What-
know how to approach code. What we need to know is not why you're building. We need to know what you're building. We know the code. So,
I
okay.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. And what I'm doing is putting the application in the context of the code.
Okay.
So, so that was the intent. It wasn't
Okay.
to tell you what you're bound by. You know what you're bound by.
Okay.
And I won't wait. I was not going to give
Okay.
any detailed review of those slides. I
Okay.
had them in there as context. So the antecedents are really two prior proceedings. The first antecedent is that we bought the house in 2007. And so, we take our stewardship of the house very seriously, and we've worked on it over the course of the past 18 years. In 2013, we came to the ARB to really to do some tweaks on the front of the house. There were 2 doors because it was zoned as 2-family. And so we got approval from the ARB to switch to 1 door, which reflects the single-family usage. Sorry, it looks like we're sharing this deck on Zoom, so I will move it along if we can. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, so the second proceeding was, the first proceeding was just to do the aesthetics in the front of the house. The second proceeding really related to the livability of the house, right? We had an issue, every time we get out of bed upstairs, we hit our head on the ceiling, so we got ZBA approval. We presented to the ZBA two dormers, one on the south side of the house in the back, another on the north side of the house in the back, and also an addition which permits access to the basement. For the last 18 years, I've been going down a trap door in the kitchen to get down into the basement. So these approvals that we got in 2018 from the ZBA really went to the livability of the house. To have more space upstairs, and it's a very modest amount of space. It's we're not increasing the livable square footage by I think the number's less than 5% of the existing square footage that we're adding on. So it's a very the scale of this is very small. And all we are doing today is to request your approval of the implementation of what we got approved, the addition and the 2 dormers. So that's where we are.
Okay.
And I'll just talk briefly about the historical significance. So this is a very old house. It was noted in the 1979 inventory of historic sites, and there were a number of things that were called out as being very historically significant. One being a gable roof, 2 the old wood shingles, and then the 2 small shed roof dormers on the front of the house. 6/6 windows and a doorway with transom. I'll say the 6/6 windows are on the sides of the house. There are no 6/6 windows in the back. There are no 6/6 windows in the front that are historic. So this is what the front looks like, and the historic elements are really all in the front. The original part of the house, that sort of central part of the house, first appeared in the historic. I went to the museum, and the Historical Society has all the old maps. Our house first appeared in the village in 1665, and at that point it was a salt box. It was very narrow, so it was nothing like. It was basically the area between those two dormers, and then the area on the part of the house that's on the south side. It was added in the 1800s, and then the part of the addition that took place on the north side occurred in 1913. We saw the builder signed it. So, so that's kind of how the historic construction went, and we, we've done a lot. I'd say that there's the elements that were recorded in the inventory are important, but they're all in the front of the house. I think a lot of what is also historically important is beyond the scope of our review now because it's interior, but I will just say that when we bought the house, it was falling apart, and all of this historic framing had not been exposed, and we worked hard to expose whatever we could, and so we we have these hand-hewn beams that have been exposed in our kitchen, and when we were doing the plans that eventually led to the two dormers on both sides of the house, it was because we wanted to preserve this area and not build on top of it. So that's why there's a part in the middle that doesn't have dormers. So we were seeking to work with the existing, the original salt box and preserve it. As Mr. Chairman McIntyre has said, we're not going to go through the code. You know what the code is. But I just want you to know that we know what the code says too, and we designed our application to be compliant with the code.
Okay.
So I'll tell you how we're compliant with the code. Well, with the choice of materials, our strategy is match existing. So all the siding is going to be wood cedar shingles painted white. All of the roof shingles will be exactly what we have today. Asphalt shingles that will match what we have. And then as you can see in the architect's plans, we've got the door and window schedule that shows that we're using the divided light windows and doors to go and create a seamless coherence between what is the historical front of the house and what we're doing in the back. So how does it meet section 65.5? Well, there's no change at all.
Let's go for, what I need you to do is actually for the public is go through your drawings and show them what you're going to build. That's what we do here. So do you have this on your computer?
I do, but the computer that's in front of me was I don't know. Is it loaded on the computer that's in front of me?
It's your computer? I don't know.
It's on my computer. This was the.
Can you shoot the?
I mean, I provided the materials electronically to the building department weeks ago. So
I understand that, but as it's stated on the thing, the applicant comes prepared to share the application. So you do not have your own application on your computer to share with us.
I have it on my computer. I can do my best to connect and share.
Okay.
So what you're looking to see is the renderings?
What we do here is the public needs to see what it looks like and what you intend to build.
Right, yeah.
So they understand and can comment.
That's
so
correct.
that's where we need to get to.
You can also put what you have here up, and we can put it on the screen, and it will be posted for the public to see.
Yeah, I understand that, you know, and I also understand that these materials have been available to the public at the building department for the last 3.5 weeks, and they are, I mean, it would be
listen,
good to. All right.
What I need you to do is either put this on the table or put it on a computer, go through the drawings. People need to understand what it is you'd like to build, and then we'll comment on it. You've watched
That
all the
sounds
other
great.
applications tonight. That's what
So-
happens.
And I watched
do
the
you either have
videos
these,
of
do you
prior
have them on your
meetings.
computer,
I don't
or do you
have them, I don't have
Okay,
the hard copy, but I do have them on my
I'm gonna let you
computer.
use mine,
Okay,
and they will shoot it, okay? So I'm gonna come over.
that's very kind of you, thank
Well-
you.
I don't have a lot of use for it, sir, after the meeting. There you go.
Okay.
So
Well, I
detail,
appreciate
so
that.
just go page by page, please. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so what you need to do is put them on the table.
And it faces which way? Us?
Faces him now.
In the middle,
Faces you,
in the middle of the
just like you're
table,
reading.
and then what will happen is they'll pick it up by camera and they'll come onto these screens.
Okay?
That is brilliant, thank you so much. So,
So we
What
may
we're
have to
proposing-
adjust where you put it. We need him to,
Go to the
Catch
middle
it.
microphone.
can you,
Hang on.
No, he'll get it, he'll get it.
You'll get it.
There we go.
Okay.
how's that?
that's great.
Okay.
So what you see there is the front of the house. That's as built, and there are no changes to that front of the house.
Okay.
You could sit at the other microphone.
Oh, brilliant.
There you go.
So what you see here is the view from the south. And imagine that you're standing in the historic North End Cemetery that sits between Stop and Shop and Tate's Bake Shop. And if you're sitting if you're standing in the cemetery, and if there were no fence there, you would be able to see this. So what you will be able to see is, well, you can't really see it because it's shaded by trees, right? They've got a series of very tall pine trees that block this view. So this view is not really. It would be visible in this format if it were if they cut down all those trees, but they haven't. So it's shaded. You can't see this from either the cemetery or from the street. But that's the view from the south side of the house.
I went over there.
Now we're looking east from west of the house, this is the view of the rear of the house, and so these are the dormers that are before you in terms of the materials and the overall aesthetic. And so you'll see a dormer on the north side of the house, and you'll see a dormer on the south side of the house, and that's what we're proposing to build. Consistent with the variances that we obtained from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Now, if you turn to the next page, you're going to see the view from the north. And the part of this is visible as you walk south from Tate's Bake Shop to Katina's. You will see the ridge lines because there's a driveway and there's a shared right-of-way, so you can see all of these lines. And this just gives you that northern perspective. And then turning to the next page, this is what you would see if you had a drone and you were looking down on the house from the back. So turning to the next page, again, this is a view from the rear, where you can see the the dormers. Again, none of this is visible from the street. This is all just in the rear of the house. And this is the view facing south if you're standing on the patio right right outside the back of the main house. So the very historic core of the house, the 1600s part, is where this window here is. That's the historic core of the house. And this is the addition consistent with the ZBA approvals and the dormer.
Okay.
Again, consistent with those approvals.
Skylights.
Turning again to the next.
So your proposal tears the roof off this house?
Yes, and I hadn't finished the presentation, but I can show you why we're tearing the roof off this house, because the roof off of this house is not historic, and it's really it's rather than contributing to the historic feel of the house, it detracts from the historical feel of the house, because right now we have the main section of the house, the core of the house was built in the 1600s. We've got an 1800s addition to the south and a 1913 addition to the north. Those three constructions don't hold together well. And the back of the house is a historical accident. If you let me continue with the presentation, I will show you that, the next slide is essentially that we have a flat roof. As it stands today, we have a section of our roof. It doesn't have a smooth ridge line. It has a ridge line that cuts into a flat roof that then continues the ridge line down. So that is not characteristic of either a 1600s house, an 1800s house, or a 1913 house. It was some kind of historical accident. And if you look at the house from the rear, there is nothing charming or aesthetic about the roof of the house. And the reason we're here it's part of it's the final step in our putting this house back together. Because the roof, as it currently stands, it's got, I don't know if you can see the screen, but the photo on the right there, you can see that it's just this hodgepodge of, you have kind of an old salt box roof, then you've got one dormer, and then you've got this thing here where it's, the roof flattens out, and then you even have kind of this little piece of wood where you've got this ski slope that goes off that, who knows what they were doing. But, obviously they didn't have an ARB to keep them in line when they were doing that. And this is, it's basically a roof that has deteriorated over the years. It needs to be repaired. And it's also, it's totally incoherent with the rest of the house and what we view to be a very charming front of the house. So what we're trying to do is to make the back of the house equally charming and consistent. We've drawn the angles to parallel the angles of the two small dormers in the front of the house. And we've used materials that are consistent with the rest of the house. So just in terms, I really have 6 reasons why it meets the section 65.5 standards. One is that the design was structured and the architect chose to mirror the historical attributes that were in the front of house, the use of the dormers and the angles. And we don't have, this is not it's not a new build, it's not a reconstruction, it's not like the applications you were looking at just earlier tonight, because we are confined by the setback limits that the ZBA has. It's a pre-existing non-conforming with respect to the setbacks. We got variances to do the dormers, so the dormers are really kind of our only design choice, because if not, we'd be looking at a totally different ZBA application. But within the confines of what the ZBA has approved, we believe we've given you the best and most aesthetic thing. It's a very small scale addition, as I said. You know, we're talking less than 5% of the square footage of the house, and you know, it's the same materials. So happy to answer any questions. Happy to hear which ways you're leaning. And
well, one of the ways I'm leaning is when we have a whole house this old and this significant to the village, one thing we are going to do is ask our historic consultant to take a look at the house. Because what we try to do is preserve portions of our old houses to make sure that they have them for the future. And one thing Zach will go do and look at what was the 3 build periods of the house and tell us what is original and what's already been replaced and what deserves to be preserved and what can be altered. That's why we have a historic consultant to look at that. So we will ask him to come and take a look at it.
well, Mr. McIntyre, I would love to have a decision tonight.
You're not going to have a decision tonight because as of tonight, we're now going to put a request out to our historic consultant to go look at the house, and he's going to give us a report. Then we'll look at the report, and then we'll compare what we look at the report to what we're seeing, what you're asking for, and then we'll make a decision based on those 2 things. Because you're in a historic district, it's a historic house, and we know portions of this house are very old, and we want to make sure the portions that are preserved, the portions that are remaining that are historic, they're preserved and preserved appropriately, which is why we've done it for anything in a historic district. We always ask the report for the historic consultant.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. None of this is visible from the street.
That doesn't matter. When we talk about historic structures, we don't talk about the front. We talk about the structure.
Right.
All 4 facades. So the next step here is going to be to get his report.
Okay, and that's on the outside because
when he comes to your house, he may want to come on the inside because the beautiful work you've done opening up part of the, and we'll give them some information on which parts of the house are original and in original good condition. And sometimes in historic houses, it's easier to tell that from the inside than the outside. Because I know going around, there's sections where you had your brick foundations, part of it, and part of it had concrete, had been poured at a different time. There are times when I looked at your, I guess it was the south facade, the south wall of the house, where the roof lines meet. Roof lines have met roof lines, so it's been altered over the years in certain ways, and he'll be able to tell us what we need to be considering as important in that and not important in that, which will help us guide what we help you get approved.
And just for clarification purposes, how is that different from what was the inventory from the 1979 report? I mean, isn't that a similar endeavor where they're going to identify?
Yes, but he's going to go. We don't know sitting here from when the house was identified in 1979 to how the house is today. What's been done to the house in those 2 things. We need a report of conditions today, what's existing today, and what we need to take into consideration today. So that's what he will look into. And you've seen us do that for every house in a historic district, especially one that's this old and significant and has such attachment to the history of Southampton Village. Congratulations. And it's a contributing structure. So that's what we're going to do. Okay? Okay.
So,
It is what it is.
So what we're going to do is we're going to adjourn this to the 22nd of September, where the building department, through Alex Wallach, will call Zach Studenroth, who you were here tonight, so you heard some of the other things he's worked on. Is 432. You heard his report on that. He'll do a report and come back. You'll get a copy. We'll get a copy. Then from there, we'll take into account everything you presented tonight, and then it will help us make a cohesive decision.
That sounds great. So I do want to get it resolved by the 22nd because the...
I can't make you promises, but
Right,
but that will be the next step.
We have leaks in the roof. We have the ground's going to freeze, so we're not going to
I understand.
be able to work in the winter. So I appreciate that. I'll look forward to our next meeting.
Okay. Hang on. Do I have any comments from the public? Okay, so at the applicant's request, we're going to adjourn the application for 7 North C to September 22nd. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll see you then, and you'll hear from the building department when Zach's coming to look at the house.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
you.
Thank you, board members.
Okay. So that takes us now to non-historic. The first one is Village of Southampton, Diamond Communications, 25 Windmill Lane. Welcome.
That's all right.
If you'll introduce yourselves to the record, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Robert Gaudioso with the law firm of Snyder and Snyder on behalf of Diamond Communications.
My name is Tom Vineski from Diamond Communications.
Okay. If I remember correctly, at the last meeting, we had requested some changes in fencing materials, and you're going to show and present us what changes you've made.
Yes.
Okay.
Tom will pull up the plans. If you recall, at the prior meeting, we had changed the back fence. We had lowered the back fence. We had changed the landscaping. We lowered the back fence from 8 feet to 6 feet, and we changed the fence type from a black vinyl to a board-on-board fence. The last meeting, you asked us to change the front fence as well, and that's the change that we made is along the front, or the back part of the property, but the front of the compound. We changed that fence to match the board-on-board style of the rear fence.
Okay.
Tom can show you where that's located.
This is the fence. This is the sliding gate fence detail, but overall site plan as well. That fence line is running north-south along the edge of the paved parking area, as well as on the top of the wall, which is buffered out by the landscaping. But the fence itself has been modified from what was previously the gate with slats into the cedar fence itself.
Do you happen to have a rendering of it?
We do. This is the same rendering that was used before, but instead of having the black slats.
That's a drawing. Is there actually a
Sorry,
rendering?
I thought I was actually sharing it. It's on
Okay.
top of my screen.
Oh, much better.
Wow.
Versus a black vinyl fence.
So cedar fence, the fence does not open into the parking lot. It is a sliding gate in order not to interfere with the trucks going back or having any wide swinging gates. So that fence does actually slide. It is on a track. It's a 12-foot entrance when it does open. So we do have the wood fence in front. We do have the wood fence behind, which is buffered out by the tree line and landscaping, which will increase over time. But that is the major change. I do have a different view as well down the different alleyway, and I'll see if I can hopefully make that appear at the same time. And it did not. There's a view looking down the alleyway towards the tower itself. Again, all the equipment is below the fence line.
That's looking down on the south side of the fire station.
Correct.
Okay. And the color's natural, so it's gonna age on gray over time.
That's right.
Okay. Board members.
Much better. Yeah, we're on the right path.
I think
What are the plantings?
Junipers? The species type junipers?
Yeah.
And who maintains those plantings? The village does, right?
No,
Or
we
you-
do.
You do, okay. So the maintenance burden's on you, okay.
That's part of the ongoing visits to the site about every 6 to 8 weeks, as well as any weeding and maintaining of any of the crushed gravel inside, as well as landscaping outside.
Okay.
But there's no, so, I'd like to cover up this view with landscaping, but I guess you can't. Right? That's for the other side.
That's for the other side.
Right.
But we
I
do have the
find it a little
landscaping.
weird that
We do have
there's-
the landscape in front of the back fence, so we have it in front and behind the back fence on top of the hill.
You're talking in front of this fence facing the
Correct.
street.
Yeah, the one facing the street is right on
Oh,
the pavement
okay.
line.
So it's.
This
it's-
is just the view from the back of the
yeah.
fire department, you're
Yeah.
saying?
Correct.
But can't-
Okay.
okay.
If you're going if you're heading toward what will be the new hotel or the back of the movie theater, that's where the trees and the fence are
Yeah,
hidden by
I get
vegetation.
that.
Yeah.
But if you look from Nugent Street down where they have the ribs and the chicken, where they
Yeah.
That's, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, there's no trees, right?
Right. This is,
Okay.
that's
I
the
don't
rolling,
actually
and
know
that's
how
a
to
rolling.
get the ribs and
That's
chicken.
it's a rolling fence for
I
access.
know they offer it
It's a
once
rolling
a
fence
year.
for access and maintenance, yeah. All right, any other comment?
I think it looks
Pretty good.
yeah, it'll be better when it's weathered as well. So.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any comments from the public? Okay, then I'm going to motion to approve the application for 25 Windmill Lane based on drawings presented on September 8th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There we go.
Nay.
Thank you very much.
I'm a nay.
Unopposed, yes, and a nay.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
your
very
time
much.
and
Thank
effort. Thank you.
Okay, so that takes us to 140 Potato Field Lane, which we have no, that's been adjourned. So that takes us to 101 Toilsome. Is anyone here from 101 Toilsome? Are they coming in? All right. I don't have anything in my folder for 101 Toilsome. Does anybody else? All right, so moving on. Let's move to 130 Toilsome
They
Lane.
were a no-show last time, too.
Yeah, okay, so what do we want to do? Two no-shows in a
I
row?
think we can adjourn it one more time.
Okay. The chairman's request motion to adjourn 101 Toilsome Lane to September 22nd. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then let's move on to 130 Toilsome Lane. Here's the team. Okay. Introduce yourselves to the record.
Good evening, I'm Brian Brady. I'm the architect for the project.
Okay.
Peter Cardell, managing member, Chris Jar 106 LLC.
Dean Gamalka, landscape architect.
Great. Okay. Counselor, how do you want us to handle this? Do you want us to start with the demo application? Do you want us?
I do.
Okay, just making sure. All right, board members, we all received Zach's report. Did everyone have a chance to read it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is
Sadly.
This is one of those sad situations. It's a beautiful house, but we're not in the historic district. Let me find Zach's report. Hang on.
Yeah.
Just had it. It was on the desk.
I'm just going to go to his, for the record, his conclusion. His conclusion is, while the Dutch colonial revival style house at 130 Toilsome preserves the characteristic scamper roof and symmetrical fenestration associated with the form, its front doorway, covered porch, and center dormer window have been altered and are not considered in scale or detailing with the original design. The wide overhanging roof, eaves, large door columns, and flagstone covered deck and stairs are borrowed from other styles and overwhelm the simplicity and modesty associated with the original Dutch colonial revival house. The windows to the left of the entry have also been lowered, and all of the window sashes have been replaced. Although the house preserves elements of the Dutch colonial revival style, the alterations cited above have, in this consultant's opinion, significantly compromised its architectural integrity. Because we're not in the historic district, sadly, our choices are either to landmark this house or not landmark this house. And if we don't landmark this house, that gives the building department permission to issue a demo permit. If you look at the balancing test, did a historic person live in this house? Is it an architect known of record or an important person? Is it a unique architectural style, or does it have a unique place in history of the village? In my looking through it and the records that I saw, I didn't see anything that would support that in order to landmark the house. But I'm open to any other people's opinions on that, because our decision is going to be whether or not to landmark it.
Well, in light of Zach's report, I think it's a hard argument, actually.
It's an argument. This is one of the sad ones that this is the
love
kind of
the
house we
house.
hate
It's so
losing, but I don't
modest.
know, because we're not in a historic district, that's in our purview to do anything but not landmark it.
I don't know, I don't think we can.
No.
Okay, then I'm going to motion that the board
Well, we don't.
make a decision that it will not seek landmarking status for 130 Toilsome Lane. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, now let's look at what you're proposing.
Okay. I did present this to
Yeah.
you
You
at the
did.
last meeting.
You did.
And there was no objection to it.
So what's the
Would you
deal?
like me to go through it again? But you did not hear the landscape plan,
Oh,
and we have
okay.
extensive.
And also, we had a
We
board
did
member
go
that
through the
wasn't here,
landscape plan.
so.
We did?
We were first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jane was not here last time, so.
Right.
Okay. If you want to quickly, Jane, did you have a chance to look through it, and do you have any questions?
No, I'm just saddened that we're losing another house in our village, but it's okay. We have no choice.
Are these plans August 5th dated, your landscaping?
They haven't changed.
Okay,
So
I
then
just,
they are, yeah.
it's hard for, like, that's what I have, and that's why I'm asking.
Nothing has changed.
Okay, well, then that's
Okay.
all I've got.
Why don't you quickly take us through the landscape plan?
Excuse me?
Why don't you
I'm sorry.
quickly just take us, review the landscape plan?
Well, this site is
This is the
gor-
middle.
I would love big
gorgeously
boards.
landscaped already.
Do you want to switch sides?
In the middle. So basically just enhancing what is there. There are green giants, emerald green arborvitaes that, I guess I think I measured at 25 feet all the way around, so it's well secluded. There are privet hedges along the street. We are fortifying that with new privet hedge as well in between the old ones to strengthen that. We will be doing some pruning to get more light into that area. There are large magnolias that I think they're like 25 feet evergreen magnolias we're preserving. Everything is basically pretty much preserved. There's a hole by the pool pavilion. I'm just adding more green giants. There is an existing from the neighbors in our side, green giants, so we're enhancing that. There's a gorgeous existing cherry tree that is on center of our pool. I mean, the place is, what's there is just magnificent, just enhancing it.
It's a pretty place.
Maybe a couple hydrangeas, PG hydrangeas, that's it.
Okay. Okay, board members, do you have any other questions? And then I'll throw it back at any other questions?
Is what's designated as the pool house, that square thing that's so cool? That
It's an
outbuilding?
existing
Yes,
existing
yes.
accessory structure. We're turning it into a pavilion. It will just have a bathroom and storage in the
Okay, I just don't
back.
want you to knock it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're not knocking it down.
That's my question.
It's historic.
We're preserving as much of the landscaping
Okay,
as we can.
you're on.
Don't go down that road.
Don't
Okay.
do that.
All right, are there any other comments from the public? The one thing I'm going to say is the house that you've proposed, Brian, I think is
Pretty good.
is a welcome addition to the block, and I think we're sad about what we're losing.
Right.
So I think what you're replacing it with is very respectful of the street and the flavor of what that section of the village is right now, and that's appreciated.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
I think it fits in. I live on
Okay.
Toilsome Lane, kind of.
All right, so with that, I'm going to motion to accept the application for 130 Toilsome with drawings dated,
Oh, dear.
stamped on August 4th, and I think the August 4th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so that brings us to, I get to turn a page. Love it, when I get to turn a page.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to 101 Wickapog Road, new matters. Do you have affidavits, and are they in order?
Yes,
Do I have to keep asking, or do you have all the affidavits and they're all in order?
you have to keep asking.
Okay. That on the record thing? Okay.
Good evening. Will Schultz, architect, representing J.G. Nugent. And this is for a project that was previously approved on April 14th. And we're just asking for permission to change the mutton configuration on the windows on the second and first floor, the casements, and the French doors. From previously, there were 4 light to 3 light. This was based on the owner's request, because they had looked at different windows and they decided that this was their preference to have more glass.
Where's the original?
So this is the, I put the 4 of these in. This is, top is proposed and the bottom was what was previously approved.
So there,
This is a flag lot on, for
Yes,
Mark, I don't think was
we
here
remember.
for the meeting.
But the munions are just going across, they're not, they're
Correct.
only,
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever seen that anymore.
My opinion is they don't, I don't think they're harmonious with the style of the house, and I think the original presentation was better.
I have to say I agree, and I'm surprised actually.
It's a strangely contemporary configuration,
We
but
loved-
against his
we loved
against
what
what
you
is a
did.
beautiful, more.
So I'd be a no.
I think I'd be a no.
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 Yeah.
Okay, well,
Okay.
Okay. Are there any comments from the public?
you have to come up.
This, let me, this
Okay.
is the owner.
Whatever.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Lisa Nugent. And the only reason we thought we wanted to change that was just for additional light. The windows wouldn't be any larger. And again, it is a flag lot, and no one aside really from us would see it. And the third floor windows would remain the same. It's just really a light thing. Our current house in Watermill, I know it's in a different district, but has the horizontal, and it's just an aesthetic preference that I don't think anyone else will really see.
I think what you're hearing is what we see in the village and what is typical, more harmonious against the architecture we see in the village. These are jarring, and you're sort of hearing that you don't have support at the board for the change.
Okay.
And we love.
Is there really more light coming in? I mean,
Well, how much more could there be?
yeah, that's really my question.
It's
It
the muttons-
doesn't
the
matter,
muttons-
we don't like
The
it.
muttons are pretty good. All right, well, yeah.
Yes, it does make a difference because you're not seeing the.
Okay.
Well, everyone
Did you have a comment, sir?
Yes, yes. I really appreciate this process.
What,
My
the
first
speedy-
time.
Let's start by
the speedy
introducing.
process?
My name is Anthony Signori, and I'm a new homeowner, and I am actually their neighbor. I've never even met them, never met you before.
I'm the architect.
She-
Hello there, how are you? So, I can just tell you that as a neighbor, I certainly respect your comments, but, I mean, you cannot, have you walked that property?
Mhm.
You cannot see anything, and I'm just here to say, you know, I see what you're doing, and hopefully they won't be as strong with you, and maybe meet you halfway, because you can't see anything.
Can you just address your comments to the board?
Yes.
Thanks.
Good.
I think you can't see anything, and I'm in support of my neighbor, even though I've never met her until this moment. That's all I'll say.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Terrific.
All right, any other comments? All right, I think you don't have support for the change. Okay, so with that, I'm going to motion to deny the request to change deny the request for the application as presented for 101 Wickapog Road. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so next up we have 63 Pleasant Lane.
We have the affidavits and they're in order, so you can take jurisdiction.
We have the plans for the house, or just the demo?
Do you want us to start by addressing the demolition?
I do.
Okay. Board members, did you all have a chance to drive by 63 Pleasant Lane?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody in support of landmarking this property?
No. Not me.
Okay. So I'm going to motion, I'm going to motion that the board will not seek landmark status for 63 Pleasant Lane. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right, good evening. My name is Brian Glasser. I'm the architect representing 63 Pleasant Lane LLC. With me tonight, I have the landscape architect, Dan Thorpe from THLA, Landscape Architects. Michael Davis, the builder. I'm not sure if he is on Zoom today, but he is also on our team here with this project. So moving forward, just to give you a quick run through of the property. The current house or property is located on the north side of Pleasant Lane, on the corner of where it kind of goes from like a kind of driving west going south, roughly 323 feet west of Somerset Avenue. The lot is 21,000 square feet. I was going to go through the demolition, but that was already approved, so I'll proceed with the new project. So when the clients came to me, they actually bought a neighboring property, 73 Pleasant, which I designed in 2022.
Oh.
So they bought the neighboring
That's
property.
a Brian house, yes.
Yep, so
I knew
from, in 2022, they bought it. You know, I'm not a fan of calling it a spec house either, but it is a custom home that I designed for a builder. They bought it, and they ended up buying the neighboring property for a family member. So that's 63 Pleasant. Luckily for me, they hired me to design this house, it is quite a bit smaller. And their intent, it looks fairly large, but it is smaller by today's standards of what the code would allow. You know, they didn't want it to overwhelm the neighboring house, which I know the board members would like, just in general, when I build a house or design a home to a smaller scale than what's allowed.
It's a pretty challenging lot, I think.
It was. Yep, and that's why we wanted to get a landscape architect involved, and just how the two houses would kind of interact with each other, because they did have to have separation, but at the same time, they had to kind of work together. So just to kind of proceed with the design that I came up with, we went with a similar style architecture, which is a shingle style home. We used natural wood materials, complex gabled hip roof lines, similar slopes to a 12 on 13 sloping roof. We also used we ended up putting a horizontal band roughly at the first floor level to kind of bring down the massing as much as we could. So the roof, you're pretty much building within the second floor within the roof lines, and that is consistent throughout all four elevations. Some other things I wanted to bring up were we ended up going with similar roof overhangs. A lot of the proportions, just to kind of restate this, proportions, finishes, materials, all are similar, or they are the same pretty much as 73 Pleasant, which is the house to the east. Some other items that I wanted to bring up were, so going through the materials here, I kind of like seeing the two houses from the back, but to go through the materials that we're using, we are going with the roof. The roof shingle is going to be a Perfection Alaskan yellow cedar. Gutters and leaders will end up being a lead-coated copper product material, which are half round gutters and round leaders. The siding is also going to be Alaskan yellow, left natural. Chimney, we have a single masonry chimney on the northeast side of the house, which is interlocking the master bedroom and the great room area. And that is a masonry chimney with a Danish blend brick veneer, manufactured by Glengarry, which is the same exact product that we had used on this masonry chimney on 73 Pleasant. Trim colors are going to match 73 Pleasant as well, which is gray, primed and painted, PVC or a boral fascia, which is a similar color to the windows. The windows that we're going to be using here are Marvin Ultimate, which is an aluminum clad, and it's the cadet gray color that we're selecting, which, like I said, matches 73 Pleasant. And we're going with, it's a casement window. columns are gonna be a 12-inch column, which is gonna be painted gray as well, with basically like a bracket built into the column. Patios, Dan can kind of get into a little bit more, but I believe we were going with a bluestone product. We don't have any roof decks, so that's a good thing. And on the back, we end up, on the front, to kind of separate the front yard from the backyard, I believe we're gonna be sticking with a cedar railing or post system. And there's a few wall sconces that are gonna be dark sky compliant, which would blend in with the architecture on 73 Pleasant as well.
Was the idea for this to serve as a compound?
The idea was that they could be within the
Like
same
they're sharing the
restrictions.
backyard, they're sharing the backyard and
Yeah.
pool?
We're not gonna put a pool in, right, those, but at the same time, to kind of protect their investment, it is kind of another house, but they didn't find it necessary to put another pool in.
So, do you think the trim should be the exact, I'm beginning to think maybe that's not a good idea. Because if they're no longer living there, I move into one, do I want to be married to the neighbor?
I will say this client has brought up in the past where the goal is never to sell it, it's for generations.
I know, we've heard
Yeah.
that before.
Yeah.
That's not really our concern.
I mean, if someone bought it, they could paint
I'm just
it.
wondering for the
They could
neighborhood,
they could paint
if there
it.
could be
Yeah.
the consideration of not twinning it. I mean,
If
there
someone else
could be.
came in,
I
they
know
could.
there could be, but
Yeah, there could be, I would
think it might
say-
be ill-advised to have two that are,
If we look at the
That's
architecture,
consistent with the code. It's, too similar.
too similar.
just because of paint color?
Oh, no,
Well, it's
let's
easy
be
to-
honest.
well, the
It's
rest
not
of
just
it-
paint color. If I look at the back of the
If you
house,
wanna
I've
get
got
started-
I've got two double gable houses going across the back that the exact same color.
Yeah, don't do that.
With the same, it's your style architecture. They're obviously the style matching houses that are next door to each other. They look like they're made by the same person. That's why I'm asking if it's a compound. And now that the same materials, the same color, the same trim color, and all the way down, they look like
It is.
they're
But it
exactly
isn't.
similar side-by-side houses. It almost makes it look like a development.
It's
And
not- I don't think that's fair.
that sounds meaner than it sounds, because
Yeah.
they're both beautiful houses.
I know I was gonna say
But
cheese.
but when you do beautiful houses side by side, it almost looks like what's off of 27. We have all those big houses that look alike. But that's why I was asking if the intention is to operate as a compound when I look at the one shared pool in the back.
Well, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me?
No, that's why
is
I
that
wondered if that's why they wanted it
If
to
you lived on
look
the
alike.
street, it's disrespectful to the neighborhood. I think it is, to
Let me ask you this question. Do you think the client would be opening to at least doing a different trim color so the
That's
houses
what I'm
didn't look
saying.
identical?
yeah.
Yes, possibly.
I think that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it would look,
Because I think they're
They're-
so identical.
yeah.
And they're so in your style, and it's so obvious that they were designed and built by the same person,
Yeah.
and they look so much alike next to each other. It really does look.
They are, yeah, and
Yes, and
also,
I think and I think even if that slight change would actually give each house a little more of its own
separate,
moment.
yeah.
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 Maybe we could go with a different tone, yes. That's something I'd have to talk to them about.
That's fine.
But yeah, just going back to the architecture, the proportions, the shapes, yes, I did use similar slopes and roof lines and radiuses, but the forms are it's a completely different, like the flow of the house is completely different, but I see what you're saying.
But you would admit that they're in your choices in a range of choices that are consistent with the range of choices you make in most of your houses.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what happens? People come to me because they like similar styles.
Yes,
They
yes.
say-
Yeah.
If I showed you like 4 different homes that someone said I love this house, I have one in West Hampton and one in East Hampton.
We know you have 5. You have 5 in the village. I know your houses.
People love it. Yeah.
Okay.
So and it's all different.
But we don't have any
neighborhoods.
that are right next to each other.
Yeah.
So
It's a
I
compliment.
think the
Take the
colors.
compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought this was cool because it was a family event and it was kind of working out nice.
But how about if you lived across the
Yeah.
street?
Yeah.
Okay. Other than
I
the
see what
trim
you're
color,
saying.
and any other comments?
No. I don't have any other.
Gorgeous house.
Thank you.
It's one of your houses. It's proportioned well. It's, Thank you for not having to come,
Shingles.
thank you that we don't have the taper columns you have to come take out.
I
And
tell
thank you
people
that you
when
don't
they
have,
show-
Maybe they
and
should-
then thank you that you don't have the roof deck we have to
They show
argue
up to my
about, so
office,
that's
they
pretty
say
good.
like, I can't
Yeah.
do that job, I'm
Yeah.
not doing it, it's that
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
trust me, I hear you loud and clear.
So then the
about
question
that one.
becomes of what other color could it be?
We'll have to figure it out.
So you need to go back and
Yeah.
ask that question. So it looks like, do you want
Actually,
to?
I'll take the same trim color over that across the street. If
No,
I was the
no,
neighbor.
That's what's being torn down.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, just
Yeah.
in your defense.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, do you guys have any questions for the landscape, because we have the landscape here?
You do have a landscape
You want to quickly
architect.
take us to the landscape plan?
Sure. So I came on after Brian, Dan Thorpe, landscape architect for the client. I came onto the project after Brian, so I did convince him and the client to move the house back 8 feet from the road. So that was good.
Thanks, Dan.
The property itself, and I do have some handouts for you guys if you would like to
Yeah.
see that fall on.
So the landscape is not showing in the renderings, the updated.
No.
No. It's close though.
Well, now they have to come back, so let's get one in the
Thank
main
you.
file.
I explained to the client that a landscape architect and design isn't really necessary, but for this project, I felt because they were kind of intertwined with each other, it would make sense. And that this didn't formally have to be submitted, but we kind of started that process already,
Well, it
so,
depends.
yeah. No, I
Okay.
think it's, yeah, I think it's important.
Let's take a look.
There are not a lot of trees.
Oh, it's small. This backyard is, the whole thing is
Are,
tight.
are you gonna put new trees in, or?
We've seen tighter. Yes. And in an interesting way. I don't know if anyone's walked the site, but there's a magnificent.
What is the hill, what's the hill in the back that goes up against?
Oh, the potato barn.
The hill that goes up,
effect?
yes, yeah. What is that?
I don't know. Some idea.
Okay.
Some idea gone poorly.
Oh, that?
Um,
Thing for Santa to jump?
Yeah, exactly. You know, what's significant about the property landscape-wise? Well, I did notice that there's a magnificent existing old-growth London plane tree in the front yard. And so the idea is to actually relocate that. So we're actually going to relocate it in the side yard so it shows up between the buildings to help the two read a little less on top of each other. So to the point of separating the buildings visually, I mean, that's like a 60-foot by 60-foot large shade tree that we're going to plug between the two. So it's a nice thing to kind of keep such an old tree on the site. The perimeter, especially as it relates to Pleasant Lane, it's a bit of an interesting lot because it fronts on more like the neighbor than the actual street. If you look at how the street kind of hooks around and elbows over and then you turn off of it, it's almost like a flag lot in a way. But we are going to continue the existing hedge from 73 to 63. So there's hedging protecting the house from the street. We're going to plant a couple more London planes in the front yard. You can see one called out there on the plan, so that the one we're moving has some younger ones around it that are going to grow up, and it's going to be a nice big kind of grove of the same foliage that you would drive through. The front's fairly simple, foundation plantings. It is small, so it's, there's parking and turnaround space out of the garage. Some gardens in the side yards. And then the back, the client really wanted to leave it open because their current property doesn't have like a big open lawn space and they have a lot of grandkids. So there's no pool, open lawn, and then we do have like a big willow tree in the back left corner of the lawn to kind of tie into some willows in the distance that exist out on the ag reserve that the property fronts on. There's a big linden tree closer to the house, anchoring the corner of the porch for some shade. So we are bringing in some like pretty significant trees around the house. Evergreen hedging between this property and the neighbor to the west.
And you're taking down the arborvitae between the properties?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, transplanting it.
Okay.
Moving it across.
How many bedrooms is this house?
4.
Okay.
Yeah,
How many
4.
parking spaces?
Yeah,
It meets
plenty.
the code. Yeah, it
Yeah.
meets the code.
When you're coming,
This is much smaller, like most of my houses, 7 bedrooms, 6 stalls.
Yeah.
And we're,
So when you come back next
I know,
time, just indicate where the appropriate number of cars go. I think
Yeah,
you're short one.
I have them here on the.
Yeah.
You have 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
They're just
Okay,
on this
okay.
on the
Yeah, we're
landscape
good.
plan. Just
There's
put it
3,
there. Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, 3 and then.
And then there's one you
Okay.
sneak in by the front.
Mhm.
All right.
Well, looks great. Congrats. And they have that beautiful field up back on.
Yeah.
Looks on
Yeah,
beyond
it's a
them.
nice view.
That vista beyond them is really beautiful. So, any comments from the public? Okay. So, 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to accept the applicant's request for adjournment for 63 Pleasant Lane to September 22nd. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, 1860 Meadow Lane. Somebody's, okay. Do you have affidavits and are they in order?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, my friend, if you'll state your name for the record.
Sean Leonard, the architect for the residence, Marilyn Stamp. Let's give you just a slight little bit of history. The Stamps have owned this property since 1983. Her late husband, Arthur Stamp, actually built this house in 1983. And we are looking to do some slight updating of the house.
Okay.
The front of the house that faces Meadow Lane has 2 curved walls that are on the second floor. And so what we're looking to do, and it with a ribbon of narrow windows. Those ribbon of narrow windows don't exist anywhere else on this house. Most of the windows in a house are more separate. If you, like in this photograph here, like you look down below and then the large window just to the left of the area that we're looking to square off. So we're looking to take those 2 rounds and square it off and then replace those ribbon of windows with a series of windows that would be placed just right here and here. And then there's also one on the side. The windows are the same height as what is currently there. It's just that they would be left separate. The siding of the house will be the vertical tongue and groove, painted the same color as the house right now, which is linen white. The windows themselves that are throughout the house is a dark bronze, is what all the windows are, so we will mimic the dark bronze.
So the only change is you're taking the curve out, squaring it off, changing the windows. And then
Correct.
putting vertical boards across
Putting
the
the-
front.
just the same vertical boards that are currently on the house now, we're just putting, it'll be all new vertical boards, all painted.
Is there a rendering of the change?
Yeah.
Here. What happened?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
What's
you.
the date of this?
The house? 1983.
Oh.
You're making no changes.
I don't know who the original architect was.
I like the, I don't like it.
I don't recall.
You're not making a change to the garage door itself.
No, no changes to the garage door, no changes to the doors and windows that are below to the entrance of the house. It is just the windows that'll be on that second level. One pair of windows that is on the eastern side there faces into her office, and the one on the western side faces into her kitchen.
So how much square footage are you picking up by making this change?
It's very little. If I remember correctly, I think it's about
60?
Yes. Actually, it's about 14.
Huh.
That's what comes out of this.
Well,
Board members.
I can't go along with that.
Go along with that.
No, I like the original thing. I don't understand the new project. I think it looks like you just plopped something on the front. I don't like usually curved, but I actually thought that was a kind of cool, the whole thing was good.
It's much softer when it's curved.
Yeah. And this sticks out, I don't know.
It looks like a concrete box, the second one.
Most of that, the house is pretty much, the rest of the house is square.
Right, but
And it's got
this
all-
actually kind of is nice, though, that you have a little differentiation.
And it has a
Yeah.
kind of modesty, but
Yeah.
it's also got a hipness because of the way the windows are. I was prepared when we drove up the driveway to think, oh my God, what is this? And then when I got up there, I thought, wow, I actually like this the way it is, so. I don't know what to say other than that. I think adding this rectangular box with with windows above more windows, with leaving the original windows on the original building, somehow doesn't work.
Most of the original windows that are on the house are just separate. They're just with the siding right around it, and it's just the window in and of itself. Very much like you see
But
right
it's
here.
softer. I mean,
The
it's a
whole point of the
completely
building was
different
the
look.
curve, like the curved stair and the curved window, and it was a soft entrance and a soft approach to the house. The whole house was that one move.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just taking away the whole house by making it hard angles instead of soft.
I kind of, when I drove up to the house and looked at the house, because it's an interesting house, my only thought was like, and the fenestration that's inside the curb, because in the center there's the sort of triple gangs, and then there's single panes. I was like, I would have redone I might have redone the rhythm of the windows that are within the curve. But I think the curve has a lot more personality, and I think it's a better. There's more charm to it. If you're picking up 16 square feet, I think your better answer is to maybe just look at what the fenestration panel within the curve and see if there's another option there that may work differently or may not. But that's I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't compete with the other windows the way the new thing does.
I guess what I think is when you take the curve out, you take away the original intention of the house.
And the elegance.
Yeah.
Yes.
The elegance.
Yeah. So what I think you're hearing is not a whole lot of support for squaring out the house.
Well, the other issue that we're having right now is, as you can see, the way that this is cantilevered. And that cantilever is currently dropped 4 inches and fallen.
Oh, yeah. That's why the support's there?
That's why they would be, well, possibly, yeah. Oh, well, otherwise we would be digging all the way into this house.
Right.
Way too far. So we've got some serious structural issues that we got to deal with there.
Well,
The curve doesn't affect the structure.
Well, it does in a way.
Well, because the curve is just a geometric shape, it's not structural.
So another issue.
It's the way that is being supported. So the curve actually is all being cantilevered from inside, and those cantilevers are starting to give way. And so what's happening is how it gets supported out there is starting. It's lowering.
Whether you
So
put that support to go in and reshore up the curved wall or the square wall. I understand why you may want to support it if there's a problem there, but I don't think that affects whether it has to be square or curved. So I think what you're hearing is you're not hearing support for the squaring out of the house. Maybe if you want to come talk to us maybe about a different fenestration pattern within the curve and show us what it would look like with the support supporting the curve, because I understand the cantilever problem. I think that's sort of what you're hearing people want to.
Well, and the project would be to rebuild that whole part of the house with the squared off part. So maybe you need to rebuild the curve.
I think a good structural engineer could solve that pretty easily.
It's a little bit trickier than.
Okay.
You can. The trouble is that with all the work that's been done into the inside of the house, they're not looking to destroy the interior of the house all in the hopes to be able to, because to dig that far into the house would be detrimental to a lot of the rooms.
Well, then maybe we can take a look at what the exterior support would look like within the curve still there then. Okay. Are there any comments from the public? So do you want to think about it and show us a different option?
Sure.
Okay. Do you think you can be ready by the 22nd?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to accept the applicant's request for an adjournment to September 22nd for 1860 Meadow Lane. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll see you then. Okay, that takes us to 50 Herrick Road.
We have the affidavits and they're in order.
I was getting there. I was putting my paperwork away. Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And for the last ones on the,
Oh, there's one after you.
oh, there is?
Yes, there's one after you.
That we're adjourning.
Lucky
No,
you.
there's a gate.
You've been last
We
a
do
lot,
have a
actually,
gate.
haven't you?
Yeah, okay.
Getting the short straw.
Poor Bailey's been here a long time
Well.
tonight.
Here we are.
Okay.
For the applicant, John David Rose, architect, and Chris Rose, intern architect. Our office is at 596 Hampton Road.
There's a lot going on next to your office.
There is a lot going on, thank gosh.
Oh.
They've got all those stones lining your driveway, I guess, for
Well, that was to
protection.
keep people from jumping,
Yes, from
jumping the wall.
Or
Yeah, we'll see
driving,
how that
or
ends.
driving over it.
See how
yeah.
that works?
We've had several do that, matter of fact. Quite entertaining. The building, it's not a historic building, it's not a contributing building, it's in an R 12.5 zone. Lot area is 17,574. The allowable lot coverage is 3960. Existing is 2624, and proposed lot coverage will be 2899. So we still have over 1,000 square feet that we could expand, but we're not going to. It's a pretty simple addition. Allowable GFA is 3257. Proposed GFA is 2926, so we're well into that. The house was constructed in approximately 1940. My clients purchased it somewhere in 1994. In your file, there's a bunch of pictures of the adjacent properties, and you'll see that the tall hedge blocks much of the street view. Hedges or arborvitaes exist on all sides, as shown on the survey. And I'm going to pull up the survey because there's something going on that's really kind of critical. And I'm sure this board will appreciate it, but there's a very large tree right here. I'll get into that in a minute.
Is that the one with the yellow thing that says remove? A bunch of the trees were marked on the property today.
Yeah, but that one should be, do not even look at that tree cross-eyed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a real, it's a Zakova tree. Apparently it's pretty rare.
Zakova?
Yeah.
Oh.
They
And
get
it's
big.
1.7 foot diameter. It's a pretty big deal. So that was kind of the driver, because we didn't want to destroy that tree. So that kind of pushed where we put the building. It made it a little bit longer, because I really don't want to disturb the roots. So that's why that's where it is, not to mention that the setbacks allowed it in that location. The windows are currently 6/1 configuration. The new windows will be the same light cut and design. Trim will be white to match existing, and the roof will match existing asphalt. Exterior siding will match existing to natural cedar shingles. Well, the building's not a landmark building. It's a very nice example of a colonial revival. That period was from 1800 to 1955. Building deserves to be treated one. It's a really nice building. So accordingly, we're going to follow the guidelines for additions and renovations of historic structures. The addition's going to be small, off to the side, not compete with the front entrance, and be very quiet. It's an artist studio currently, and it's going to remain an artist studio. It used to be a covered porch on the side, and they closed. I don't know if you had a chance to see. You can
That's what
still
it looks
see the
like.
deck, the tongue and groove deck sticking through. It's a little funky, but
Yeah.
we're going to clean it up, but keep it simple.
I like the whole thing.
It's a nice house. The inside's really nice too.
Yeah,
The
the
client's
front
done a
yard just
great
needed a
job.
machete, so I could see it from the
Yeah.
street. I'm like, I've driven by there so much, I was like, I never knew this was back there.
I never knew that was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised, and I did the house next door to the west,
Oh, yeah.
which was a bigger center hall colonial.
Uh-huh.
But, and I was there all the time, but didn't get a chance to see this house. We'll see it more when we're done.
Its modest size is great.
It's a nice house. And the clients really take nice care of it. That's it in a nutshell.
So the materials are what?
They're gonna match the existing,
Okay.
so cedar siding, left natural, trim's gonna
White
be
trim.
white to match the existing,
So
and the asphalt is
601/1s to match the existing?
6/1.
Yes, I'm sorry, 6/1s, yeah. Okay. Board members?
Can't complain about that.
No. I can't, oh, it's a miracle. I can't either.
I think it's a,
Your hair's not on
I
fire.
think it's what you said. It's a
Yours
love
would be
that one.
too.
It's,
I
a
mean,
it's
Just
appropriate,
saying.
it's quiet, and we love anybody who takes time to preserve a tree. So, with that, any comments from the public? Motion to accept the application for 50 Herrick Road from drawings presented, is there data here? Drawings presented on September 8th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. God.
Thank you very much for your
We're
time.
waiting for, look at that.
Okay, Bailey. 292 Ox Pasture Road.
can
Do you
we
have the
just-
affidavits and are they in order?
No, can we just do the adjournment of 66
Oh.
Meadowmere first?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to call 66 Meadowmere.
And then no answers.
Okay. Then I'm going to accept, I'm going to.
The affidavits are in
Motion.
order.
Yeah, you have the affidavits, and they're in order, and motion to accept the applicant's request for an adjournment for 66 Meadowmere to October 27th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
These affidavits are also in order.
I'd actually asked.
I wasn't ready for that.
All right.
Bailey Larkin with Bennett and Reed, offices at 212 Windmill Lane in Southampton, and Jorge Gomez, who's the architect on this project. This is an application for a proposed driveway gate for 292 Ox Pasture. We were here quite a few months ago now for the house that's currently under construction on this property. It's kind of an unusual lot with about an acre in the front, very long driveway, and the house is all the way set back.
Barbell. It's the barbell, right?
Yes, it is.
There you go. For the chair.
I think I'll show you
Did I? Oh.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
So that's the property and the proposed gates actually down here.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So the gate detail, the gate complies with the transparency requirements, about 42.5% transparent. Brick columns, reclaimed brick columns. The gate's proposed to be a charcoal gray color, black hardware.
Yeah. It's right there.
How tall is it?
Your posts are 8 feet tall, and your gate is.
7 feet 3 and
pretty big.
8.
It's a huge lot, though. It's proportionate.
Yeah.
It's proportionate.
Yeah, it's we stay within like the standard. Actually, the existing, the one that was taken down was
Oh,
8 feet straight up. It was a mix of wood and vinyl painted white, and it was actually closer to the street rather than we're putting it farther back a little bit.
and the mechanism is in the post?
No, they want a call box.
Oh, they want a call box.
Yeah, the call box will be pretty much close to the corner of the house. Most of the houses in the special, these clients actually own a close property close to it that does have a call box. In several of them, it's going to be very minimal, as minimal as possible as we can have it. With the understanding.
I don't think we've approved a call box in the last 4 years.
So, think again.
So if there's another, the gate's great from my
Mhm.
perspective.
Mhm.
The call box is, we just haven't been
Embedded
approving them.
in the piers. In
Yeah,
the
it's just,
post.
I understand that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's just a matter of people
So-
don't want to get off the car to like go.
But if you drive around and look at those,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look that good. We don't, we like it not to be so visible. And in this technology age.
Yeah, I mean, this is the existing gate that I'm sharing. The call box is pretty much where the stake is.
Well, that's fine, that's
right.
done.
Right.
We're moving ahead, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, comments on the gates?
The gate's fine, I would say incorporate the call box.
Okay.
Either no call box or into the column.
Okay.
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 All right, any comments from the public? Okay, so I'm going to motion, well, wait a minute.
Written decision.
What?
Oh, it's historic.
Written
I'm
decision.
gonna motion to move to written decision to approve the application for the gate for Four Queens Cottage at 292 Ox Pasture Road, but not the call box or its location.
So how do you
Is there,
do that?
then the call box should either be on the, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, because the call box either has to be on the column or a different
So how
technology.
do they put that into the plans and get it passed through the building department? Because just saying it isn't gonna make it happen.
Well, if they want to come back with a different option that has a call box
Okay,
or on the
otherwise
columns.
they're
Yeah.
compelled to put it in the post.
Or
that
use,
right?
or use the same
Or
technology
use
everybody else has used, which is no call
their
box.
cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll.
Most,
Okay.
most people use cell phone technology.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
If I'd known it'd be this quick, we should have
The
done this
two
first for
last
you.
ones, yeah, that wasn't.
I always feel bad for the gate people. Let's sit through everything. All right, with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn the September 8th meeting of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let us know when we're off.